So how have I, worked with other small businesses to kind of scale up? And it's crazy because the virtual system, it works obviously for real estate, but her wholesaling business, I've worked with a restaurant actually that was actually really getting ready to go under, and they kind of wanted some ways to actually get some more efficient systems. And so even just putting like a little small thing in place, just like one virtual assistant who kind of helped with the phone calls, do a lot of the stuff, we really were able to kind of save them from kind of sinking really quickly, which is what's great about the model that I've created is that it really can work for any business. Obviously my virtual assistants are trained though specifically in real estate, but it really could work for any business, working for my consulting business, anything. So this is important. You have to have systems. And I'll run through this quickly. So when you have your systems, you create consistency. Consistency is an everyday thing. You will not know if your system is efficient until you do it consistently for at least 3 weeks is what they say. You can't just try something every day for a week. I know because I do it when it comes to the diet plan. I'm all up in the gym for 30 days and then I'm like, well, this is too much. So I admit it, right? Like I have my strengths and I have my weaknesses. Once I'm in the gym, you should see me, I'm on it. But getting to the gym is the issue. But if I do, once you do something consistent, that's how you make it happen. And they say, what is it, 90 days to actually create a habit?
It's 21,
is it 21? Oh, 90 days to break the habit, 21 to create one? I wish I had worked for the gym because I need to get that back.
A couple other factors, intensity and duration. I mean,
okay.
Factors that affected.
Okay. Well, yeah, they all affected me with that when it came to working out. But when you're, and just making sure that when you have these systems, you're constantly tweaking them, constantly tracking the system of how it's either growing or maybe hurting your company. All important. When you have the consistency, you increase your productivity. When you increase productivity for real estate, making more leads, the more offers you put in, the more likely one is going to be accepted. Just based on the numbers that you put in. Whether it's through the MLS, whether it's through auction, whether it's through probates, tax lien, doesn't matter. As long as you are making offers, more likely some will be accepted and they will convert to deals. And when you increase your revenue, you can hire more assistants who can also then scale your business up. And so when I say time isn't money in this business, time is everything. Don't equate your time to how much money you make, equate it to how much you are going to accomplish. So it's important. People are like, oh, with the time, how much will I get paid per hour? I know how much my hourly rate is worth. I got it, but I talk to everybody, I don't charge. People call me all the time, a lot of people in this room, never ask for a dime. Always just want to, give my best, but I can do that because my business is running on virtual assistants. Yep. Oh, oopsies. Okay, so yes, this looks like your current business model. Whose business model is this right now? You are the accountant, you are the call person, you are the salesperson, you are it all. It stops. Right. It stops now. This is my business model. So I'm gonna walk you through it. And for those who came to see the virtual assistant workshop that Charles did in April, it's the same thing. Y'all had it. It's on the website. I just took it and developed it to make it scale in the different markets that I'm in. So, how do I get the leads? Our banded signs work in the different markets that we're in. We actually do slide dial, which write this down if you don't have it. If you've heard it and you haven't used it, slap your hand, shame on you. Y'all not going to admit that that's what happened, but that's okay, I got you. Slide dial.
Tell them what slide dial is.
I'm about to. Yep, so slide dial is where you can actually leave a voicemail on a seller's answering machine saying that you're interested in their house. We do this for our for sale by owners. We have a list that we collect, my virtual assistant collects the list, and what she does is she slide dials them, leaving them a message saying, hey, we saw your sign, we saw your property, we'd love to make you an offer, cash deal, please give us a call back. So the calls come in. We also have done text marketing as well. Kind of a brand new thing, but most so for recruiting realtors, sending bids for contractors. We just go ahead and do mass text to people.
And that's perfect. Realtors don't like to pick up the phone.
Nope. So, but they say 99% of people will look at a text.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's just the market that we're in. We're rapidly growing. My mom is texting, and I'm looking at her like, ooh, but she still looks at every message. You know, so it's just.
What was the name of that?
Which one?
The text.
Oh, it's Moby Marketing. It has the text messages. Yep. Obviously the internet, right? So we have, we have different lead pages for each market, foreclosure pages, tax lien pages. We have just regular seller leads pages. And every time someone puts their information into one of the lead pages, it goes into our Patio system. All these can come into our Patio system. Even slide dial, so let me explain it. When slide dial happens, they call back. They call my assistant who picks up the phone. She writes down all their information and puts it into Patio and uploads the contract that's going to go with it for what she thinks the offer should be on their house. Because on our seller lead sheet, we basically, you can't do like a full estimate repair, but we basically say, you know, what's needed in the property. So we put it in. At the end of the day, don't be scared. If your offer gets accepted, you have contingency. I don't see properties until we have it under contract. I'm not out, if you call me about a deal, I'm not going to drive to see it. Because I'm going to make you an offer, and if once it's accepted, we can negotiate. But that's wasting too much time. I can't drive to every little thing, every little deal someone tells me. Put an offer in based on my rough numbers. Maybe we adjust it and you really give me something compelling. We adjust it to get it right for you as well as us. Once it's under contract, then I go see it. If it's too much work, can't do it, I have my contingency, I pull out. Done. So I'm just saying, those people who are driving around 4 hours a day, you should do it to collect, you know, some numbers from for sale by owners. I'm not saying it's a good strategy, but don't do it to see every single property that comes to you. It wastes too much time. All the leads, so we're online. All the lead pages that come in, our direct mail campaigns, all those calls that are coming in get funneled into our Patio system, which we then make offers on those properties for. Excuse me. What we have is our project managers are actually, you know, the ones who are overseeing it's really myself right now and Siam, my partner, but we're getting to the point now we've already set the goal. June of next year, we're supposed to hire acquisitions managers for each of the markets that we're in. That's how close we want to be. So it is still us, but the goal is to fire ourselves from that role. So we do review the deals now. You know, it also just takes a lot of knowledge. So that's something you really can't have. You could have a virtual assistant do if they've been with you long enough. But you know, sometimes also good just to have a person too, another person on your team. So yep, right now we currently are the project managers. Our realtor has actually been pretty good in Ohio because she'll go see the properties. She'll put in the offers for us because we've taught her how to do that. So it really could be somebody else who has a lot of real estate knowledge. But yeah, virtual assistant, potentially if you train them all the way up to be one, or you might want to hire one as well. But all these leads are coming into Patio. And from there, it really is just send and go. It takes me probably 30 to 45 minutes every morning to just go through my leads that have come in through wholesalers, MLS, lead pages, direct mail. It's whatever happened the day before. And I say yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Yeses go to my agent who submits the offer. No's go into our follow-up system because it's a no now, but it may not be a no in a month. And that's it. Agent then obviously forwards it to the title company as well, and then we go to closing. As Charles says, wash, rinse, repeat. Same thing every time. It's just having the structured system to do it every time, but we don't change anything.
What's Lobe?
Oh, sorry. I apologize. Yep. So a couple things. Skype is what we use to communicate with our virtual assistants. It just works, especially with the different time zones. We use PayPal to go ahead and pay our virtual assistants. They're all on independent contractors. So when it comes to taxes, we write them off as an independent contractor, so W-9. GlobeFlow for Patio. It's a way to actually kind of connect things within Patio for you. We have a couple of virtual assistants who created like different workspaces in Patio for auction items, and it's a tool to kind of help you kind of increase the productivity in your workspace. But something to note, there's also if you go to GlobalFlow, they have an actual list of what the things that they can do to actually increase your Patio, and it's all documented in a system step by step. I also have it in my manual. Zapier, also same thing, very similar. Okay, my team, real quick. Siam, my partner, basically his side, he really is also kind of now, because we're trying to accumulate more commercial buildings, so his thing is the commercial side. I really do more of the residential leads, as well as the training and hiring for our assistants and virtual assistants. Team of virtual assistants right here. One who takes the calls, someone who does my social media, and it depends. I had my intern over there, Tiara, who actually did my social media. She is a high school sophomore now. I got her as a freshman from Don Bosco Crystal Ray. They actually have a work study program, meaning she was in my office. I didn't have to pay for the intern because it was free $99. Say it with me, free $99. Free $99. But so she was working in the office one day a week doing all my social media. She did a couple of my probate campaigns. I had another person, why not? And I was like, well, I need to get 3 or 4 of y'all. But, through our relationship as well, hoping that she likes where she works. But, obviously now it's on a paid basis. But, they did come for free. So there's certain schools that have work-study programs that allow you to do that. But now I do have someone who does a little bit of social media, the cold calling, which is very important. I'll talk about it too. Someone who's doing my website design, making sure we're getting our SEO, search engine optimization. For those of you who don't know, it's just basically making sure your web page on Google is constantly rising, right? So if I type in top-notch property solutions, it was on the bottom of the page when we started, and now it's pretty much risen to the second slide. So if people type it in, they'll get my page. So paying somebody to do that. PPC stands for pay-per-click ads. So, and also it's kind of formatted also with retargeting a little bit, but so if you're on my site, my lead page site, and you start to fill out the information, but you don't fill it out, and then you go to Facebook, you might see an ad saying, hey, come back to my page, and it will follow you, retargeting, for about a week. So now you are constantly seeing me and you may want to do the business with me. So we do it for the different things. So we really try to target lenders this way. So when someone clicks the lender box, we want to make sure we're constantly following them. And we've done the pay-per-click ads too. You can do those through Google, pay-per-click ads. So that way when people are typing in Google a certain real estate foreclosures, you've seen those ads that also come up on the side and like on the top even. That's a page and you're like, it doesn't look like it should be at the very top, but it is. So people also click on that as well. And then someone who does our direct mail marketing campaigns. So this one we still personally had to fill out the templates. So I went in and tweaked the templates for 7 mailers of tax liens. But my virtual assistant is the one who's sending it to the fulfillment house, scrubbing the list of the addresses, making sure we're going to get a good response rate, sending it out so that way we get the leads and get a higher rate. So you can also do that virtually. So no need to go lick the envelopes, so I've done that before. You can go ahead and have somebody also do it at a very reasonable price. So the key to scaling up, and I do recommend writing it down because it's common sense to me to know, but it's one thing to see it and really say, am I doing it? So if I had to take a picture, I would take a picture of this slide. It's documenting every aspect of your business. Nothing is too small. I'm going to show you an excerpt from my training manual. For social media, it says facebook.com. This is the login. This page, this. It's step by step so that somebody in high school could learn it. Because if she can learn it, then a virtual assistant can learn it. So it has to be basic. It takes time on the front end, but it saves an insane amount of time. I didn't have her over the summer because the school year had ended. So, I had to put somebody in for the summer really quick temporarily. But because everything was documented, it only took 2 days to train that person. Because everything, the turnover rate was so quick. I can put somebody in, even if someone is sick for the day, I could say, hey, can you go ahead and do the MLS stuff? You should be able to have almost every person who's working on your team be able to do all those tasks, because it's in your manual, step by step of how to do it. Creating accountability for all your members on your team. This is very important. I did this with Tiara. I said, what are your goals for my social media? She was like, I think I want to get like 1,000 likes on your Facebook page. Cool. How do we do it? So she was looking up different webinars for me, taking notes on it. And at the end of the day, what does Tiara want to learn? More social media skills. Great. How can I make sure that I'm, as a boss or employer, helping you to reach your potential as a social media expert? Making sure that I can say how you quantified the work for me. What did you do? You grew my... This is obviously Resume 101, and I learned this late in the game, but when you quantify your experience, it always stands out more. So rather than saying I led her Facebook campaign, no, I grew her social media page from 500 to 1,500 likes. You should always be able to quantify everything that you do. That's how you track your business. So we were at 500 likes. Great. Tiara, how do we make it to 700 likes? We're at 700 likes. Great. What else should we be doing to make it to 1,000? You have to think about it and benchmark. Third step, the goals for each aspect of your business. Your direct marketing campaign, how many did you send out? How many was the response rate? What should we do to tweak it for next time so it grows? My bandit signs, where are people calling from the most? Where are people not calling from? Get rid of the ones that if you've tried it for a decent amount of time, you can't just put it one time. And I'll tell you, I hated doing that. That little stapler, yes. I outsourced that quick. I said, oh no, y'all got me out here trying to staple this sign. People looking at me crazy. I said, okay, you're right. I just can't do it. So, I had to get somebody else to do that. So we had a runner, it's later in my slide, but a runner who, we use the app that allows the runner to take pictures. For every sign that they post, it's $1. And where they post it, I can see it, the picture's there, I can pay them based on where they hang the signs. I have it in there. Yeah. I'm trying to remember. It's not Street Team, but I started with that. But then they actually make you pay. Yeah, this one's still free.
You want free 99.
I do want free 99. I think I have it documented in my business a little bit later. But yeah, so just making sure that, you use the app, and I'll have it, so that you can go ahead and document, when people are doing it. But more so, tracking it. My biggest thing. You have to track everything that you're doing. Because how will you know if you're really making growth if you don't track the systems? And this is so funny because I was just telling somebody about, this was me in Teach for America when I was teaching. I had a classroom of kids, all different disabilities, all different issues, and I was like, if I don't have a system for them, they will run me crazy. So from 8 to 8:15, we're sending affirmations of love to one another. From 8:15 to 8:30, we are writing our goal for the day. 8:15 or 8:30 to 8:45, it was systems. And every day, nobody fought me on affirmations because they knew that's just what we were doing. And when you get that consistency, and people start to, realize, okay. For example, a virtual assistant who was doing our probate leads, she was doing it at 30 an hour. She was getting 30 leads an hour. Once you become more consistent at it, it jumped to 40 an hour. And then she jumped to 45 an hour. So just really teaching people how can we even tweak things to make things more quicker so that we can capture the most amount of leads. And again, of course, firing yourself and moving up the ladder. So you're not a technician, but an entrepreneur in your business. How am I doing? Y'all still okay? Y'all still with me? Oh, yeah. Who's falling asleep in the bag? Hold up. Y'all good? Okay, I just want to make sure. Just gotta make sure. Because this is the nitty gritty, so I know I'm going to run through it quickly. So how are we doing it? I've replicated the systems with my clients. I had a small little pilot who I was testing the system with just to see how it was working. Went well. Can go in everything, any business. So make sure you document it. You outsource to other people. Watch, rinse, repeat. And always cash those checks. So top 3 things to do before you choose a virtual assistant. Post a compelling job post. I was just even on Craigslist just playing around yesterday, and I saw the weakest job posts. I'm just like, Would you apply to that if you saw that? No. Some of it, you're just trying to get it done, and that's just not the way to do it. It has to be compelling. So our virtual assistants will work for us for $5 an hour, will work for us for $25 a week, because they know that there's growth. My virtual assistant, you'll meet her at the workshop because I'll Skype her from the Philippines. But she tells me all the time, like, yes, you weren't the highest paid job, but by talking to you and knowing that you were trying to grow me as a person, by talking to you and realizing that there were bonuses that I didn't even know of, and I surprised her with the bonuses. I was like, oh, we closed that house that you found on the MLS, sending you your bonus. And I mean, I wish she had a video of it, of like her screaming when she saw it. It was a $1,000 bonus. And she was making $25 a week on a simple campaign that we were doing. But that makes them want to work, continue harder. She's like, what's the next bonus? What's a bigger house? Where else should I be looking? You know what I mean? And $5 an hour, $25 for the week. It's crazy. I mean, you just have to really talk to people, figure out what their goals are. So that, because when you elevate people in your business will automatically elevate. It's a mindset. Anytime a virtual assistant messes up, it's not their fault. It's my fault. What did I do to not train you to understand what you're doing? Too many times people get frustrated, say, oh, I can't do this. This virtual assistant or whoever is not doing what they need to be doing. But what did I not do to train you so that you can elevate to the next level? So this is a people first business, and when you help people in business, your business automatically grows. So post a compelling job post. Walk around because y'all look like y'all are half and half. So make sure your job post is compelling. The thorough interview. So I have, and this is also on my cheat sheet, I have the job post that I posted on Craigslist, Odesk, Elance, Indeed, Monster, because I market it to everybody. So post a compelling job post, conducting a thorough interview. So I've also had a virtual assistant do an interview for me. But more so importantly, asking all the detailed questions of what you need to know, and making sure that you really do find out the goals ahead of time of what people really want to get out of your business. And even the way to weed people out. When you post that first job post and you say, in order to fill it out, when you email me the resume and the cover letter, right? Email me, then we'll do an interview. 100 people responded to our job post. 50 of them didn't include a cover letter. You already let me know you weren't serious about my job because you didn't read the directions. So we weed people out automatically. The people who sent the cover letter, I took a look. The ones that looked like it was just generic, they were submitting to everybody, move off. And it's funny because I picked my first virtual assistant who I said with me at the workshop. She wasn't the one who I wanted at first. I wanted the one who had like trained MLS. She was on it. All her ratings were high. This was on Odesk. And I was like, this is the one I want. But at the end of the day, I could tell she was so busy. She was trying to work like 4 jobs in one, and it just wasn't it. So I took one who had a little bit of less experience, but who I knew wanted it. Her cover letter, she was like, this just seems like a great opportunity. I see the growth. This is what I want to do. So that's who we actually ended up hiring. You don't always need the top realtor, the best contractor. You want people who do good work and who are consistent, but who also want to grow. So just saying that as well. And then the last one was give a test. So just to demonstrate the proficiency, I basically just give them excerpt of the manual. Do a Craigslist ad, just the final test, using the steps of the manual. It may not be always right 100% the first time, but if they really tried, or even if they asked questions as to how they could do it better, what do they need from me, that's the people I went with. All right, next. Ooh, someone smells good. I smell like cologne. Somebody back there. Somebody. Okay. This is another one of the nitty-gritties. So again, I'm going to blow this up. It's actually in my Gmail. This is one of my virtual assistant schedule for the week. Do y'all really want it?
Yeah.
Y'all don't want it.
Yeah. I don't think they want it.
I don't think they want it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Let me hear. Do y'all really want it?
Yes.
I'm kidding. I got y'all. I'm making that lunch. No, I'm kidding. So this is what one of the schedules looks like. So every morning, as you can see, they're making offers on the property. Because the time frame is a little different because obviously 13 hours ahead in the Philippines, I just am expecting that by 9 o'clock when I wake up, all this is already in my box. So you've made the offers on the properties. I'm looking at them, reviewing them, or my partner is, and we're saying yes, no, maybe, follow up, whatever we want to do to categorize it. This is on Monday. She's also looking at auction sites, which we bought properties off of auction. You have no idea, right? Even if you go in person, I've sent runners before to auctions for me. You could be that only one at the auction. And this wholesaler just sent me this deal, and we were so amped about it. It was in New Jersey, and we found out that he was trying to wholesale it to us. The price was, I think it was $200,000, and we still knew that even if we fixed it up, we would make about $350 to $400. He got it off of auction for $20,000. I said, now you trying to a wholesale fee of $20,000? You're gonna list it at $200,000? I was like, sir, can you work with me? And he was like, okay, yeah, you're right. Maybe I thought I was dreaming. I was like, but but still, it still would have been good. Someone who wanted a little slimmer profit, you know, could have picked it up. So the auction, submitting to us the bids that we need to watch. If it's something that we're really interested in, we'll put our virtual assistants on it to let us know the daily updates of the price. If it's something really hot. And yeah, we've sent runners before to the actual auction site. We'll say our realtors, they'll go for say if you go and get the property, not only do you get the listing to buy it for us, sell it for us, but we'll also, work something out. So most people go for it. 11:30 working on the website. So whether it's, this one I think is the SEO, search engine optimization, just making sure they're tracking it, seeing how much we've grown, checking our lead pages to see how quickly they've risen, how many visitors. I want to get a report, and we'll walk through this at the workshop too, but really I'll show you the breakdown of how much we're doing, how much the sites are actually generating leads, and how we track it and what we actually do to actually tweak it to make it go further. So that's kind of the breakdown. She does speaking engagements for me as well, just something that she does. Craigslist ads. So we have the Craigslist ads going for sellers. We also, and this is a strategy I'll give away, we actually do, when people are doing estate sales. So we have people reach out. We've gotten 2 houses this way. Estate sales where we actually, email the person at the estate saying, hey, so you're having this estate sale. What's up with the house? Let's talk about the house. And a couple people, people do respond back saying, well, it's in probate or, whatever it is. But you can actually go on Craigslist and start to search those and also reach out, to people that way. We also have someone who does our, this is the slide dial. So someone who's doing our slide dial campaign. This one, sorry, it's a little blurry. I think this one is divorce. Divorce. Right now we're doing a divorce campaign. So this is just making sure that the weekly ones are also going out, the weekly mailings. 11:30. Oh, yep, working on the website again, writing the stats for the day. Check website leads in Patio. So how many have we gotten? Make sure you do the research, do the comps, see if you can do a repair estimate or ask the person to give you the repair estimate. Put it under an offer letter for us so we're ready to go and press go. For sale by owner list collecting. Funneling those leads in. Requesting pictures from our contractors so that way we put them in the newsletter that we were saying. So we have our virtual assistants, you can do through text. Text the contractor saying we need these pictures uploaded for our Friday newsletter. So the contractors know to go ahead and upload it so that the person who's doing the newsletter can go ahead and make it pretty for us. The Motivated Sellers app. Making sure, that so what we do is, it's also part of Slide Out, but they're actually collecting all the lists from the wholesalers, from a couple different sites to actually go ahead and collect it so that we can actually do the Slide Out campaign. So they're just the ones who are right there. They're actually generating the list for us to actually use. And then the cold calling. Realtor cold calling. This is a good one. Divorce attorney cold calling. can't email divorce attorneys, you want to cold call them, because we've gotten a property that way where they're like, yep, there is a couple that we know, get rid of the house, I'm glad you called. So we have a list of divorce attorneys that we have our virtual assistant go through and call, so that way, you know, we can get some leads off the divorce attorneys. They're a really good resource. And there's a ton. Miami had like 200. We were like, well, yeah, I know, right? That's what I should have done, right? Right. Sheesh, there's a booming market right there. But yeah, so making sure you're doing those cold callings. Cold calling the realtor, saying, hey, I saw your website. This is what, for the realtor calling hour, they're really just looking at different properties that match our criteria, calling the real estate agent, building a relationship, and saying, do you have anything else that fits our criteria? Please think of us first. Then we do a follow-up. If there was someone who we saw something but it didn't work out, we'll have the virtual assistant the next month make sure they go back through that list of the people we made contact with and have them say that we are still interested. Squeeze pages, my social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Weekly check-in. So just once again, also giving the numbers. This is important too. It's not on here because we're still working out the kinks, but there was 2 mentors who I've met recently have said that the biggest growth of their business came from when they sat down for 2 hours with their entire team to really review everything. Because that was a time that they were coming up with new strategies. They put everything away. No phones, nothing. We're just sitting and reviewing everything that's taking place. The assistants or team members called in and gave their report. And as they got off the phone, they reviewed and said, this is what we should do for the next strategy. Because like you said, you can get caught in the weeds of running and running and running on autopilot and doing it. But if you don't take the time to, well, excuse me, you have somebody right here who could do it. But yeah, it was a guy who was telling me about it, and I was like, this, you know, no one misses a meeting, but this is where you get real growth. Because people are there, people have to report in, and it holds people accountable. Right? Because what we were saying as a team, you know, down in Florida right now, it's my partner, his wife, who's also a realtor, his brothers down, he has 2 younger brothers down there. My mom works on my business, his mom works, but it's really about accountability. It's like, if you didn't do your part, you're buying the whole team breakfast. And you got to send the virtual assistants a bonus if you messed up. I'm sure virtual assistants will love that. But that's what I'm thinking, you know, because I want it to be held accountable, and that's hard, right? That's one of my weaknesses sometimes, is that, you know, I have all these to-do lists and I don't always hit everything. But when I tell you, even writing this book that Charles so graciously wants me to write, which I've, you know, almost done, but my girlfriend was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna write one too. I was like, dang, now I gotta step it up. So when she said what page she was on, I was like, let me take my butt and get my pages together. But you have to have a good accountability group. And so even going off that model, you know, and working with Charles with his mastermind, something I'm obviously doing for my consulting course is making sure that there's accountability, because, you know, you just don't want people to buy something and then it just goes in your inbox and you don't see it again. And a lot of people do that with fortune builders, and I'm not talking the 5K buy-in. I'm talking like the 25, 30K buy-in, right? People just didn't do deals. They were like, it's too hard. I was like, you spent all that money, you better do something. Yeah, still have it. There's a guy in there, I promise you, he goes to every conference. And I look at him and say, it's been 4 years since he's been in Fortune Builders. Wow. Still hasn't done a deal. Wow. I said, you're really just here to socialize. No, you did not. And he bought the high package. Well, if y'all have money to play like that, by all means. Yeah, right. But if you don't, right, don't buy anything that, you know, you wouldn't actually use. Right. That's why I said, so that could have been my, you know, my first deal, loaning me that. Right. That's what I'm saying. But yeah, so just accountability. Even if it was with your partner in business, find somebody else who is doing business similar to you. It's very important. It helps you grow. And when you just write down your goals for the week and you can see what you didn't accomplish, it just makes a difference. I've been the most productive when I've really written my goals out for the to-do for the day before. Woke up, did my little affirmations, pretend to exercise, and go through the day. And I can see how much did I accomplish in that day. And there are days when I don't feel like it. Right? But at least I know where I am, what I still need to be done, and if there's some things I haven't accomplished, making sure I get on it for the next week. And it's okay, we all have those days, and I have them probably more often than y'all, but it can be tiring sometimes, and I get it. But also, this is the best part too, because then you can outsource this stuff. right? So you're not tired doing it all, you have somebody else who's tired, who's working for you and doing it, right? The training manual, okay, sorry. So this is the training manual, I'm about to pull it up, that really documents everything. I've talked about it in my consulting course too, but this is really what runs my entire business. You know, it's basically about 200 pages worth of stuff, literally step 1, step 2 for everything. And it took some time. I even had a virtual assistant help me finish writing it because it's a lot of steps. And I'm constantly tweaking it. It's an ongoing manual. Your business is an ongoing manual. You're constantly tweaking things, and that's okay. But you have to make sure you document what works so that somebody else can replicate that model for you and you can grow. So just a snippet. What is this that I landed on? Let's see. How to find offers. Beautiful. So MLS. So don't take a picture of this part only because it's like my partner's like login. So this is, but literally it's like step 1. I'll show you this part at least. Step 1, go to the website. Click on that tab in the right-hand corner. This is the login. This is the screen that will come up. I mean, I even have it, I document it down all the way to understanding what's what so that people understand. And then I walk people through the training manual. And this takes me, roughly 2 or 3 days to train somebody, meaning like they've read it, they've tried it, we've done it together, they do it on their own. I show them what we're looking for, what we're not looking for, the formula we use to go ahead and calculate the offer to make on the property. It just depends. This one's for Florida, so
It's in Dade County.
Yeah, this one is for Dade, in Florida. Going to Patio, right? Putting the lead in Patio. I also have them put the offer letter in Dropbox so we can also see it in different ways. But this is the actual offer of what it looks like for Florida. So customizing it that specific. Under property description, this is what you're typing in. Under purchase price, fill this out. If you go 4 lines down, I mean literally, it's step by step. And it's for everything in my business. And you have to be this detailed for somebody, because it's a virtual assistant who's doing it, but she could do it too, sophomore in high school. It has to be at that level so that everybody, can fully understand it, and you can also replicate it. So if somebody doesn't want to, you have to let somebody go or somebody so that they can't work anymore, you can easily put somebody else on it in a couple of days. Never goes away. Yep. I can't scroll all the way down. Some of y'all are probably like, go ahead, scroll a little further. Let me see what else y'all got in here. But it really is for everything. It's marketing, it's for websites, it's for auctions. I mean, yeah, it's every part of my business is documented. Okay. We did go through this. This one's for the interest of time. Just the tips on hiring. Okay. Stellar agent, I told you about that. Same for the contractor. Making sure you check their references, have them bid on a project. We don't meet every contractor. So if I say this is the property 123 Main Street, we don't say, hey contractor, go to 123 Main Street, what time can we meet you? We say, we have our realtor put in the scope of work of what we're thinking, the whole package, so that all the contractors go when they can go, take the property scope of work, and put a bid in for us. It saves an enormous amount of time. So they go, they see the property, they write their scope of work for us, and then you have to really vet out your contractors, because that's always what people say. If you get a bad one, it can really make or break your profit. It is true. So conducting the interview that I told you about, making sure you're meeting their goals, they can help you reach yours. And this is also just something that's super incredibly important. We have 6 critical documents that we have our contractor fill out. And these I will give away just so you all, if you're really serious about doing the rehabs and you want a good contractor, this stuff will save you if something happens. We have the W-9 standard, the contract lien waiver, making sure that they sign at the end of the house saying that they will not put a lien. They've been paid, it's all good. making sure there's an insurance agreement, the scope of work template, which you both sign, right? So you saw it, I saw it, we go ahead and sign. Any change orders can't just come up, and that's where people get caught. People say, this is a scope of work, the contractor says great, and now all of a sudden I have a $2,000 change order that, because, oh, I found something wrong with the property. Sometimes it happens, but you have to sign off on that change order. So just making sure it's completely documented. We also do the payment schedule. This is also important. I've seen too many people get burned by paying too much up front, and the contractors can walk away. So the payment schedule is if it's a new contractor, I understand wanting to get paid weekly, but I'm paying you small increments weekly. Maybe $1,000, $2,000 a week. The final payment, you're not getting, and I'll say that for the last, that's $10,000 probably, roughly. Maybe depending on how big the project was. But it's the final payment you're not getting until the project is completely done. And that's what happened with the contractor, the one I told you about. He was too behind, and I told him, you can't get that final payment because I don't believe that you'll actually really finish the full house. He was like, you're right, I think I overdid myself. And I was like, okay, as long as we leave in peace, it's all good. Got a new contractor. But this is stuff that's very important. Independent contractor agreement, this is the one that says the $100 a day if you're late, right? There's a lot of little hidden clauses in there that I have, and a lot of lawyers have looked at it just to make sure that if we went to court, I'm taking your money, right? Because at the end of the day, you signed the contract. You knew it was $100 a day late. This is what I expect. The job's supposed to be clean. The pictures, you're agreeing to all of that. So if you say, I didn't send pictures this week, I'd say, well, it was in the contract. You signed that contract. I also let the contractors pick the date. You told me the date. I didn't tell you what day it needed to be done. I said as soon as possible. You picked July 27th. It was on you. It's also, when you walk through it with somebody, it also just lets them see, like, man, this is kind of, that's why that situation could have gone a lot worse with a contractor, but it was a little bit more peaceful just to be able to say, you picked this date, you didn't meet the date, and you will be in the hole if you're over the days because of how much money you owe us per day. There's a more peaceful way to let somebody go than just saying, I've seen people get into it crazy with contractors. So just a lot of the steps in here. I also have the resources definitely in my consulting book and in the workshop as well. But definitely just don't want people to get burned, because I've seen that. That's what most people call me about. The issues, like, oh my God, contractor, this is what happened. So I just want to make sure you guys are all protected. And so again, you are in the business of not making money, but
everything.
Close.
That was the answer, wasn't it?
That's the answer she gave, but that was time.
That's okay.
No, that was time.
You're not. Amen. Thank you. What was it?
Helping people.
Thank you. So you're not in the business.
Reach their goals.
Yeah, but you should dabble into everything, I guess, a little bit too. That's true. Half credit. But yeah, just mindset again. This I just stress to people, because people always, the first thing I ask is, what is your mindset with your assistant? What are your goals? Do they know the goals? Do they know how they're being evaluated? If you are just kind of like winging it, it's going to show. So you have to just make sure your mindset is really about putting these people first, making sure you're elevating them, all your workers, your contractors, realtors, and then your business will just automatically elevate. And I do the same with my lenders. Our first meeting, I don't ask for money. The first meeting I ask, what can I do for you? I personally say, is there a contact you need? Is there a book you want to read? Is there something I can do for you? I give them their ask first before I even think about asking for money. Because I want them to show that I really am in the business of us growing together. Yes, it's going to work out because you're going to give me the money, I'm going to grow it for you, great. But this is an ongoing relationship, so what else can I be doing to help you as a person, as a professional? And you have to show that to people, because that's how, most people trust and most people have done business with me. I don't think I'm a stellar company that other people aren't doing. I think that what really shows out and stands out is just putting people first. Even with the foreclosures of people, most of the time it's because I'm going to pay. If you're going through a foreclosure, I'm personally paying to do your credit repair. I will pay for it. I'll have somebody scrub it, and I'll put it on a monthly tracker. I pay for it. This is going to cost me $300 for the year, $400. Compared to what I'm making, I'm paying for your moving costs. It's too much stuff. You're overwhelmed. I'll pay for the mover to come do it. I'm also paying for you to meet with a debt-free counselor. And my favorite, I'm also going to give you an additional $15,000, $20,000 if it still works in my budget, so that you can reinvest in my company. That's changing the game. I've now said, I'm giving it to you, and I want to actually grow your money so you don't go and spend the check. That is what's happening to most people who are in these situations. They're taking the big check and running and spending it, and then still in the same place. And if you're putting people first, I wouldn't want that to happen to my family member, so I don't want it to happen to you. So just something to note, like, this is what's making me stand out. I don't think it's because, of course, maybe my little charm as well, right? But, no, seriously, it really is about putting people first. I do it in everything that, I do. And it's just so because at the end of the day, I know I can walk away. I may not have gotten the best price, the biggest price I could have out of you for your house, but I can sleep at night knowing that I'm making a decent profit and the trajectory of your life is changing. You're not in debt. You're not going to file for bankruptcy. We're going to make it work. And there are a lot of companies that are too concerned about the check and not about people. Went through that. Man, I'm killing it this time. I'm so sorry. Real quick, just what your interns can do, and I'll talk about this more in the workshop. The bandit signs, the phone calls, social media, generating leads, submitting offers, scheduling meetings for you. Oh man, this is a lot of stuff that I use also just in my business that people are managing. I have somebody doing my QuickBooks. It goes to my account at the end of the year, but they are using, I block my bank information, but they categorize each expense. They know it was a meal, they know it was transportation, because that is like an 8-hour thing to do on your own. Like that takes forever to do. And if you're doing it, it's a lot. So I've also outsourced that as well. I do the cold calling, website maintenance, retargeting, Google Analytics, we talked about, the newsletter, sending it to people, document prep for the lenders, making sure the promissory note's signed, the mortgage note, all that stuff so that the lenders get the documents. I don't have to do that. I let somebody else do that. They also help us with the wholesaling, obviously by doing part of the marketing, obviously putting it in the system for us, managing the rehabs. They're the ones who get the everybody together. Rather than you, electrician is calling me saying he needs to meet with the cabinet guy to make sure it all works, my virtual assistants handle that. We're all gonna get on the call, plumber, electrician, HVAC guy, whatever. Let's talk about it, discuss the issues, great, moving on. It's too much, I can be on the phone all day on one rehab with the plumber, the contractor. Oh, what is the progress? It's just too much. So the virtual assistants help me manage those rehabs by getting people together, keeping them on track, and getting the progress reports for me and letting me know. They also can help, like I said, hiring employees. They can run the Craigslist ads for you, which I've had somebody do, and building my rental portfolio, scouting my rentals. I say managing rentals. I haven't quite done that yet. I still use a property manager in Ohio, but there was a virtual company that I was actually considering who does the managing of the rentals. And what I was considering was, because property manager sometimes will charge you for stuff. All of a sudden it wasn't $2,000 for the month because the refrigerator that we had to buy was $1,000, and you're like, I know how much a refrigerator costs. Like, you could have gotten a cheaper one. But what I'm thinking is having our virtual assistants manage the rentals, and if there is a problem, to contact our contractor to go fix it. So that way it's not the property manager using their people, we're using our contractor. So I'm still it's still in place. Still a work in progress, that one. And then yes, like I said, auction scouting. Jeez, oh peas. This is just some of the deals I've done using the virtual assistants, but all these, the same process is what we talked about. Yep, probate lead, putting in patio. And then this is where you can find some of the VAs or interns. So this is, I'll talk about this. So there's two ways to do it. I think you can pay a company, a virtual company. There are a few out there. I have one that I'm also an affiliate with, because they not only have virtual assistants ready to go who are proficient, I'm letting them train the virtual assistants on my system. So they're going to be watching my videos. So that way, if somebody wanted them, they already come ready knowing all the things that are in my training manual. You still have to tweak it because my Florida contract is not going to look the same as the Maryland contract. But at least they're trained enough on the MLS, on everything that's in my actual manual. But you can get a cheaper version of that using some of these. However, I'm not gonna lie, it does require more work, right? Because you have to make sure you're vetting them out, making sure they're English proficient, that they can, you know, do all these tasks. So yeah, you can either pay a company to do it, to do the staffing for you, or you can look at these, and these are all great resources. I found my first one off of Odesk, Kathy, who I said you'll meet at the workshop, who you know, is still with me from November of last year when I first, you know, got one. Also, just some other, you know, school internships, which I told you about. Career fairs are also great. I went to William & Mary undergrad, and I basically just posted a job in the career fair for unpaid internship. Got a lot of hits. Again, it was very crafty what I wrote, right? Like, yes, it's a free internship, but if you close a deal in that time, you get a bonus, right? So it's still, you know, just a lot of people went for that. And we've also had people from community colleges who've also worked throughout like a semester program who work with us as well. And the work study program I told you was how I got Tierra. How to communicate with them, Skype, Google Hangout you can use. We've done a free conference call line before that also works. Appski is a great app that actually allows you to track timesheets. So if you really are, you're not really, it's new starting out, you want to make sure that every hour you're seeing what they're documenting. It allows you to basically take screenshots of the app, of what they're doing. I mean, so they say from 11 to 11:30, I worked on your probate leads. They can take a screenshot of it, upload it. So I know that that hour, this is what you were doing. I can see it. So this is really good for time tracking. I did pay for this one. It's free for a certain amount of time, and then the more volume, which is what I'm doing now, I had to pay for it. Golly, I was trying to give you all everything. Just tools to support you. Aweber is what we use, and MailChimp as well for our email campaign follow-up. Infusionsoft is a very good program. We haven't used it as really because it's for something that's in such big volume, and we're not sending out like 5,000, 10,000 emails, so I haven't upgraded to that yet. Maybe I will as business grows. QuickBooks, the text alerts. Obviously just LinkedIn with, they have a lot of real estate groups, so just meeting people, finding the groups. Yahoo groups is my favorite. They have a ton. I've gone to a lot of meetups. Clearly we're all here. But you know, and some are better than others. Obviously this one is better than others. Callfire, which gives you a telephone number that allows you to track the calls being made. So if my virtual assistant tells me that they called 60 people, I can see exactly what the calls, you know, how long they were. I can also record the calls and then go back with them and say, hey, let's just pick one and let's kind of go through how we can tweak it so that you can be more effective in the next call. It's just a way to do that. I use Visita for my scheduling. That's also free. So I would love to meet with all of you, and I just say, I've done it to probably a few people in the room. I just send out the Visita link, and it has all my hours that I'm free to talk. Someone just signs up. It takes away the back and forth. You said Tuesday at 12. I say, oh, Wednesday at noon, whatever. It just saves a lot of time. And this is a link that just goes embedded in your email. So if people want to sign up to talk, it's already there. Yeah. Oh, I had that on there twice. It's like Doodle, yeah, very similar. It's just it now blocks off your time in your calendar, and I can have it in my calendar. Like it goes straight to my Gmail. And then I also have all of them set reminders. So like 30 minutes before, we'll be like, bing, you have a meeting. Yep. So it works well. That also works for Outlook as well. Okay. All right. You already know why it's important. So this MeetUp, everybody should do one thing. Whether it's hire the VA, whether it's create a post, a job description post, and I don't want you calling me. I don't want you trying to reach out to me if you haven't done at least one thing from the workshop. Because that's my first thing I'm going to say, well, why didn't you do it? And I've done it. You know, we've all done this in school, the excuses. You know, I've been there. But you just have to. One of the most powerful things, and I told this to Charles Blair, because a girlfriend of mine told me, I was like, Charles Blair gives away so much free information. Isn't he afraid that like someone like me will take it and just run with it? And she was like, Brittney, let's be realistic. I was like, no, seriously, like we could have a little competition, like, you know what I mean? She was like, out of 100 people in the room, 50 people are gonna write down what you say, 25 people will write it down accurately, to some degree, 10 people may research some of it, 5 people may get one thing done, but only one person is really gonna try and implement it. So we're looking at the room right now, and we see some people left, which I get it because I was running a little late, so I apologize. But it's that you guys, it's all the same. You're all in the same place. Everybody has 24 hours in a day. I understand some people work. I've worked 3 jobs before in college, I know. But what are you going to prioritize? And who's going to be the one that actually really copies the system? Because that's the only difference was in April, I sat here, I saw that one slide that I showed you, the model of just how to run a virtual system. And I took it and just scaled up. So I challenge all of you. So and don't call me unless you really have some progress to say. Because I want to help, but I'm going to look at y'all like, did you do that patio?
Yes.
Okay. Amen. Yep, real quick too, like I said, the quickest way to scale, offers. Do that tomorrow. The more offers you make, the more likely it will stick. That will help you grow. The database setup is key because you can't be writing stuff on paper no more. It's got to go somewhere. Marketing campaigns, picking 3 strategies that you want to do. I say we have about, you can run anywhere between 3 and 5. 5 can get a little overwhelming, but 3 are important. And it's not just a one campaign. You don't just do one mailer. They say even now, the average, back in the 90s, it was only like a 5-time touch. You had to talk to somebody before you could get them to buy a product. Now today in 2015 with all the options, it's like 12 to 15 touches. So direct mail is obviously more personal, so we say roughly 7. But even calls, it's all about the follow-up. And another one was, which really scared me, was when someone else answers my phones. Now I can just, I take it off sometimes so that, when people call, I can just pick up. But someone answering the phones changed drastically. For the sellers, scheduling it changed the game. And yes, my upcoming workshop, celebrating my 1 year of quitting my full-time job, November 7th. And that is where I'm gonna release a lot more of the full details of pretty much everything. I hope you guys got a good chunk of it now. But yeah.
How did you get there? Oh, yeah. Where are you from?